Hi everyone, Temporal here. So today we're going to do a Reinhardt review for Old Gem, who is a gold Reinhardt player. But before we get into that, I did want to let any of my viewers know that my Discord server is now live. So if you want to join that to see prices for paid coaching, what that costs, or get more general life advice, that will be down in the description. Other than that, if you're just here to watch the stuff, that's great. Have a blast. Have some popcorn. You know the drill. Do feel free to like and subscribe. But now, back to seeing what Old Gem's up to.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers
Let's get our
incoming.
open.
Stop the pain.
Why are you in the open there? You didn't need to swing this wide. So it's very unlikely that you want to retreat using this corner. It's much more likely that your retreat path is back around the left corner there. And there's no real reason for you to be this far in the open. You didn't need to go this far to the right to line up your opening fire strike. You're just going to be in the open, either taking damage or giving them shield health for longer than you need to get back behind cover if you stand here. And you should never do this. You never do this. Come on. You never do this back and forth right here on Reinhardt. Ooh, I have a super wide pen this time. Not sure why. You never do the back and forth on Reinhardt like that, because what that is doing is you're thinking that, oh, well, I'm standing here in the open so that my team can shoot at their team. But you're Reinhardt. You're a melee character. Your team has some idea how to use cover, some idea how to peek. If you really did go, hey, I want my team to be able to poke, you'd be standing here because you don't need to give them this much shield. You could instead go, hey, I'm right here, and I'll extend my shield out this way, like this, so only a little bit of my shield is exposed, and my echo can still shoot through it, etc. I don't need to give them all this shield that they can shoot at, because you being in the open like this does no good. But honestly, I wouldn't even be shielding like that most of the time. Most of the time, you'd want to be standing right here, and you're looking to swing into this corner, or to swing into here if someone comes through. You're not looking to stand in the open here. This positioning is wrong for Reinhardt. You can't swing at them. This guy is way too far away for you to swing at. Your fire strike is not up. This is doing you no good. Play your corner right over here. Can I get a thinner pencil? There we go. Yeah, I can. Cool. F2. There we go. Yes, the corner. You retreated to the corner. That was better. Now you should immediately drop your shield and swing, because your Zarya bubbled you. Swing! 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 Now you stop. You were about half a second late there, but now stopping, you can just back up half a step and you're behind the corner again. Okay, so you play the corner once he gets close, and I do like that. I'm just wondering why you were so far in the open. You sort of get corners, I just don't know why you were so far out in the open to start. Corner again. Fire strike while the deflect was still going was a bit of a risky proposition, but we'll deal. Where's your Anna? Were you just taking that much damage? I want to see some of that again. I thought most of your healing on you was coming from the Mercy there. Okay, so let's go like this and get a better feel for how that's going. You've got your bubble and you are shielding rather than swinging while you have the bubble. Unfortunate. And you don't start swinging until your bubble's totally gone there. So you didn't make much good use of that bubble at all. And then you're out there swinging while you're burning. So you've got the dot ticking from the Ash Dynamite. That's not as bad as being out there swinging while you've got a Discord or a purple, but it's not fantastic. Again, you should have been out there while you had the bubble. Now you should be going on this corner right here where the Zarya and the Lucio and the Genji. The Genji a little, but if you're right here, you can swing into the Reinhardt. The only one who can hit you besides the Reinhardt is the Genji. This guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy all can't hit you unless they swing their backline around to where the Genji is or they walk forward. If they walk forward, they get hit by your hammer and you get swings on their Reinhardt before they're in a place to hit you. If they swing wide, your Hanzo potentially gets a chance to shoot at them back there. So that's more what you're looking to do. You didn't want to stay out here without your bubble really at all. And okay, so you were out there swinging with no bubble. I thought you had a tiny bit of bubble when you were swinging out there. You were out there with no, and you were swinging while you were burning. So you're down to half. Your Anna's already used her nade. You're hard shielding now, but you're hard shielding from half while you're still burning. And now you're going half to preserve a little shield. And you should just hard hug the corner again. You want to close this angle from their backline as fast as possible. See how they can still see you? And you've got all this distance. You could have closed this harder. He knocked you back a little bit with his swing, but some of this was you retreated further than you needed to before closing the angle on their backline. Your Mercy is exposing herself, healing you over here. Your Anna is pumping heals into you. Yeah, you are taking all of the team's heals. And I'm not sure Anna's hitting all the heals, but you are taking all of the team's attempts at heals, and you're not getting value out of it, and this is your second bubble. So this should be a swing. Yeah, that should have been a swing, not a fire strike. And you can peek for the, half a second you have left on this bubble, but you've already used your fire strike. So there's not a ton of good you being out here. You probably just need to tuck that corner again in an instant. Yeah, so you're too deep. You're too deep when your bubble ends. You were so far away from cover, and you don't have much shield left. You already spent most of your shield, right? So where's your shield health? 256. So you are in the middle of the choke. Your cover's all the way over here or over here, and if you retreat here, you're going to be split from your team, and your team expects you to retreat this way where, Hanzo can jump right and be protected by you, etc. So you are in the middle of the open with a little less than half health, so no armor, and 200 shield. You can't be here. You didn't have enough bubble to go this deep. You just had to go, okay, fine, I'll soak the instant on my bubble, and then I'll be back here. Since the bubble was protecting you because you were low, that was a bail you out bubble because you were so far behind and your healers were struggling to keep you up. That wasn't a go wild bubble. That was a push the Reinhardt back bubble. And you need to recognize those. And now your team's gonna get rolled because, maybe they put their way back in, but we don't really care. We care about you. You shouldn't be out here yet. So if you try to push up to get back there, you've got two choices. If you push up, you go, but I'm going to stop the cart, and that's important. And yeah, that's kind of important. But if you stop the cart, how many people are going to be able to be with you? If you fight your way up here, you're going to have to fight your way up here pretty fast. You're not going to be able to be conservative about it. And then you'll stop cart, and really how many people are going to be with you? Your Echo will be able to keep up with you. And then 3 seconds later, you'll have a Zarya. You can't do it. This point is gone. This point is gone. You're not going to make it back in time. So you should just be waiting here, preserving resources. If you're out here and shielding, you're just giving them shield to shoot at. The only person on your team who's using that shield is Echo. You're not ready to advance off of it, because if you advance off of it, they're already going to have the checkpoint, and you don't want to defend from here when they already have the checkpoint. It's too easy to put you in the water and stuff. So you should just instead preserve your resources, wait here, and then rotate with your team out here up to high ground. You know the drill, and do a real hold. You're not going to get another hold on first. So you just standing in the open, in the middle like this, you're just donating resources to the enemy team. So you're not going to make it in time. Congrats. You got 10% ult charge that life. You fed them 550 health of ult charge. And you also, your Echo might have gotten herself killed regardless, but she went with you because you pushed for space. So now she's going to be dead. And now it's also going to be harder for your team to rotate across behind you. Okay. Now push up and take your new corner. You can shatter. Now you don't need to shatter. You've got that. Good. Where's your cover? So if you get pushed here, if they push into you, where can you go for cover? Is there a corner that you can retreat behind? So the payload is what you can use. That's fine. Okay. That was reasonable. I'm actually not going to complain about that shatter. You were effectively going, hey, if we hit the shatter, we can stop the follow-up here. I don't have an issue with that. Yes, we can talk about did you find the right threats for your shatter, etc., but I'm going to live with that. You have to push back in because your Echo's already gone all in. Good. You know your shatter. Well done. But now you're just wasting your Zarya's bubble here. Like, I don't mind if you're choosing to back out and go, hey, my Zarya's bubble, I'm not ready to swing, I'm not close enough, and I don't think it's appropriate for us to push in, and now they're beating, so it's definitely not appropriate for you to push in, but you can still lower your shield here. You're a pretty big hitbox, and your bubble makes you an even bigger hitbox. You offer enough protection to the people behind you without your shield up here. There's not like a sniper on the other team, like a Widow or something, or a Hanzo that you're worried about insta-gibbing your team if your shield's down here, so you're better off dropping the shield, preserving your shield, and making sure that Zarya is getting better energy off of the bubble she put on you. And again, that if Fire Strike was what you wanted there, you effectively Fire Striked when your bubble was already over. That was late. And let's watch your retreat path here. It's really a where your team is choosing to hold issue, but you set where your team holds. But you were coming back into this fight, so we'll live. So now you can Fire Strike immediately.
Heroes never die.
Now this Fire Strike is late. Which, of course, they deflect it. That's fine. It's fine to push it like this. And you don't really have anywhere to go. Yep. Okay, so I don't like this. The cart's still moving and you're retreating. Do you really believe you're going to get out of this fight? Like the hopping back, I understand you're trying to go, oh, I have to disengage. You can't disengage. You don't have a Lucio. You don't have enough team members up. You're not far enough away from the enemy. At this point, go to the cart and make them kill you on cart. Like, I get that you're trying to go for the pin here, but a kill isn't even really worth anything to you. Like, if you kill them, what's that do? Okay, well, you're still going to die, and you're going to die after having killed the person, which means the next 6v6 is still further away. You haven't gained your team any real tempo boost there. So you instead want to be going, nope, I'm going to cart. Even if I just activate cart being contested for a second, even if you then die within a second, A, there's that second of the cart being slowed down, but B, even after you've stopped contesting it, the cart lingers for, a moment, we'll say, before it's done being contested when no one is touching it. That's how Dive used to do the rotations of touch, leave, because there's a little lingering contest even after you've left there. So you can buy yourself almost 2 seconds worth of time just by touching cart here. But I won't complain too much because you did get the kill, and that does get you ult charge that they don't mirror because they can't heal it back up if you killed it.
Rendezvous at my position.
The payload has reached the checkpoint.
It's actually a better Fire Strike than most of your Fire Strikes. Okay, that was good. And that was good because you would have expected enemies to be walking up through that, etc. and you weren't going to need your Fire Strike for the next 90% of its cooldown. This is dicey. So doing little flanky things like that with Reinhardt, where you go around and try to flank them, if you're not hitting a shatter, which you didn't have, or going for a pin of their Reinhardt in the back back into your own team where you're then safe, generally not worth it. Your team doesn't need you to be a shield bot for them, but your team does sort of expect you to be the tip of the spear. Let your off tank or DPS worry about the off angles a little bit more, because your team was not rotating behind you, they were still playing main. This is good. This is good. Let's see that again. Again, you kind of wasted half that bubble. And there's no reason for you to be like doing that back and forth march in the middle that you did. You did less of it here than you did at the beginning, but you can play tighter on your left corner there. If you're tighter on your left corner, you can you can retreat deeper. You can swing at it from here, and if they start swinging wide on you and pushing you, and you really don't like it, and you get down to 80 or so HP like you are now, you tuck deeper, etc. Yes, you're exposed over here. That's a thing. We're concerned about that. You hope your backline watches that for you, but if they push you too hard, you can pull back, and then their Reinhardt, if he wants to finish you, because he's the most likely person to be able to finish you, he has to come in deeper. Is a Reinhardt with his shield this broken and with less than half HP willing to come in deep to finish you like that? Well, maybe, but he's very likely to die in exchange for that. Does that make sense? So you can use this corner, and then you can wrap around deeper on this corner, or you can go even deeper on the corner, like this if you prefer. I wouldn't. I'd go like this in this case to make him reach if he wants to finish you like this. And if you're making him reach, that puts him in a lot of danger. Yes, I see the Lucio over here, but the Lucio and the Genji are more checked, etc. You can retreat back here and then shield if you want. You get the idea. Instead, it looked like you were going back forward when that Junkrat nade hit you, which we didn't want to do that. We wanted to shield and rotate deeper into the cover there. Effectively bait the Reinhardt into his own death with your low health.
Back into the fray.
Heroes never die.
A little too predictable.
Back into the fray.
Okay, so far, I really don't like when you play out in the middle of the choke like that. You're not doing you sort of understand corners better than actually most Reinhardts at this level, so I like that, but you have moments where you just go, no, I'm going to play totally in the open, and that hurts you. And then the other big thing is this kind of dovetails into, you don't properly understand your, we'll say, resource management with, hey, you're too weak to be pushing in on this, or your Zarya, half of the bubble has already expired before you even realized you had it. So I want you watching closer for when you have bubbles so that you can react faster with them. And when you have a bubble, that usually means step out and swing, or if you don't have anything you can do, step out and fire strike, etc. But I want you to recognize bubbles faster, and you'll get faster at recognizing bubbles if you make thinking about, hey, when's my next bubble come up? You want to be tracking your own Zarya's projected bubble cooldown pretty darn closely. You should have a good feel for when you can push. You should be able to go, okay, it's been 8 seconds. She should have bubble back now. I'm going to push out and sort of expect that I'm going to get a bubble. And if you don't, you'll know immediately, and you just close the thing. You just close the site again, etc. But you can sort of be in this hey, I'm mentally tracking when it is. Until you get there, you can be very active on comms, but really, as Reinhardt, knowing your Zarya's projected bubble timings and having that be part of your play is a really big deal. And if you have that more, you also combine that with less, hey, I'm pushing out with no armor, I'm pushing out with half health, with, a half a second left on my Zarya bubble, or no Zarya bubble available. Those are times that you really get punished. Whereas if you understand, hey, I've got 150 HP, no Zarya bubble, I'm going to have to retreat in harder and lead this other guy in, and he can't chase me because it's dangerous, etc. So those two things, don't stand in the middle like this and really be tracking your own Zarya's bubble timings. Your play as Reinhardt, your aggression windows are very, very, very heavily tied to your Zarya's bubble timings, so you need to know when that's available, and your aggression cycle should be tied to, I know she has bubble, I'm going to go do this. Okay, I didn't get a bubble, she must have used it on someone else that I didn't notice, so I'll immediately pull back, and then I'll wait for the next cycle, and now I'll go because she should have it again, etc. Yeah, you're kind of in the open. It's not your job to peel Lucio. It's not. This is too dangerous. You being out here like this, going back and peeling at the Lucio means that their Zarya gets to do way too much free work. Their Rein should be pushing up and swinging into you and Zarya unanswered. Like you can't go back for the Lucio. You have to let the rest of your team deal with it, even if that means your Zarya turns and deals with it, which, sucks for the frontline battle. But even if it means your Zarya turns and does that, that's better than you turning to swing. You can turn to shatter a Genji that's blading behind you or something if the opposing Reinhardt doesn't have it. But right now, you don't want to be turning to. You are not the peel tank. You are the frontline tank. Let the off tank, if anyone, deal with the peel threat in the back line. Okay, so good. You got the heal, so you can push out because you have the nade. Oh, I'm still accelerated, aren't I? That's fine. We coached an accelerated speed there. It worked. It's fine. Again, you wandered into the middle there for no reason. Okay, so let's watch this bubble and let's watch what you do with it. And specifically when. Should be coming up. That's a second way still. So your Zarya knows when to bubble you. You see what I'm talking about there? Where you went out for a swing, your Zarya had bubble, your Zarya knows this could be the real fight, and even better, your Ana also knows this could be the real fight and got a nice nade off. So they have done everything they possibly can to let you just hard win this fight, hard pressure them, do great stuff with this, and you shield it. And I get it. You were in your mind going, I'm going to swing once and then I'm going to shield. You're going, I'm going to swing once and then I'm going to shield. And I won't get in trouble because I only swing once and I have enough health because I did this at full or near full health, etc. But if you're tracking your own Zarya's bubble timings, you know that, hey, she's probably got bubble. This Zarya is recognizing my aggression when she has bubble, and she's bubbling you, expecting you to continue swinging, telling you to continue swinging. If you're tracking her own timings, you're going to be more willing to go, yep, I think I'm going to get the bubble. Let me start the second swing. Let me go for the third swing. Let me stay out here and get 3 swings instead of just one. Whereas because you shielded, you're potentially robbing your Zarya of some energy if this bubble doesn't get burst because only a little of it expands past your shield. But also, this is dead time. This is time that you're not swinging, that you could be swinging and getting another 75, 85, whatever it is damage on their Reinhardt and on, who is that, Cake next to him, and potentially on Moira, etc. That's a big deal, especially while that Reinhardt's purple. And so now you drop your shield, but you're not swinging yet, or you might now be swinging. Okay, but let's zoom out. So you've still got the bubble. That's one swing. So again, This second swing is totally unbubbled that you're doing right here, and now you've turned purple. So now you're risking it because you're swinging rather than shielding when you're purple, and you couldn't have been purpled like this if your bubble was still up, and your bubble would potentially still be up if you hadn't had dead time with that shield there. And you are much less likely to have had that dead time if you were kind of going, my Zarya's probably going to bubble me right now. That's what I'm saying. Track those bubble timings. It'll enable your aggression to be a fair bit stronger. And you'd kill this Reinhardt here. You would kill this Reinhardt here almost for sure if you hadn't shielded for an instant there. And now you stop swinging. You stop swinging and you hard shield. And the reason you hard shield is you're still purple and no Zarya bubble is coming to remove this purple from you. And you know that because you just got the Zarya bubble. And there's a Reaper on your left too. Even if you don't see him, you should hear him. But even if you don't see him, you're purple. And when you're purple, especially when you're purple and up, you already got the Reinhardt kill. So you know you're up in this fight. You hard shield and back out. Hard shield. Good. A little slow there, but generally good. Yeah, I can accept that ult. You were up and you were probably going to win the fight regardless, but it's only a single ult and the fight wasn't fully decided yet. It was still a 6v5. It's fine. You got the checkpoint. This shouldn't be this messy for your team, but apparently is. It's unfortunate. Leave. Your team isn't here. You're effectively trying to... You got a stagger kill, and that's nice that you spent an ult for basically, a single stagger kill there, and a pretty big ult. So it would sure be nice since you spent that ult to get more stagger kills here, but they're throwing ults back at you. It was okay to soak the damage to give your Zarya energy with the double bubble there, but you don't want to keep pushing in here. I know your Echo's doing it, so now you're kind of baited into it, but she can get out. She has her flight. She can get out. You should just get out. You're just in the middle of the path right here. You don't even have the option of getting out quickly. Even if you just hard shield and rotate to the right, you're going to be down to 400 shield or less by the time you get there. That one was a worse bubble than Zarya gave you earlier. That one you would have just still continued your retreat path. You'd have just dropped your shield. But you will actually encourage your Zarya to be giving you good bubbles if you're thinking more about her bubbles, because you'll be when she's looking to use bubble, you'll be giving her great opportunities to use bubble if you're thinking more harshly about her bubble timings. She'll never be starving for energy, so she'll kind of go, oh, look, you gave me a great bubble option, etc. Swing swing, yep. Okay, so I'm actually more okay with you peeling that Reaper than I was with, the Tracer earlier. And the reason for that is you were able to close the sight line on the enemy. By coming back here, the enemies couldn't see you anymore because you put a physical blockade, a wall between you and the rest of the enemies, and just made it your whole team versus the Reaper. You didn't need to hold the front line because you put a wall between you and the front line. No, you don't need to charge for this. Going up and taking this space is good, but you don't need to burn charge to get here.
The pain.
Now continue kiting. You don't want to trade swings with the Nano guy before your team's... Now that he's popping Cove, you can, but you did not want to be trading swings with the Nano Reinhardt. And you definitely want to be swinging with your bubble up, though. Good, good. You can really only do that once per round, but that's good. what he did there for viewers is he did the other Reinhardt was jumping, and because the other Reinhardt was jumping, he did the forward plus swing, and his first swing knocks things a little bit to the left because it comes from the right. So if you're pressing forward plus swinging your hammer from the right towards a Reinhardt that's a little bit to the left of you already and is jumping, you're going to send him a little further than normal so you can shatter past his shield if you've got the range right. So that's something you can do about once per round. They should adjust. They should start jumping less, etc. But that's good for a shatter per round generally. You could have countercharged him last second, but that's okay. Yeah, countercharging him last second would have been better. But hey, we get over it. Oh, high ground pathing. About time. Fire Strike would have been better on their Ana than their Reinhardt. Putting, like, you take their Reinhardt sometimes because, hey, he's what's there, etc., and maybe you'll get targets behind him, but the Ana would have been better. A little pressure on Ana, 100 damage of pressure on Ana is a lot more valuable than 100 damage of pressure on Reinhardt if they're equally available targets, which they were there. I don't like this charge to lead, and the reason I don't like this charge to lead is your Moira's still dead. You can't earn this space. You literally can't earn this space unless, I don't know, you Ana or your Echo pick someone off, etc. in a 5v6. And you shouldn't expect that. It's more likely that you'll continue to get staggered poking into this 5v6 or trying to take space. You're trying to take space, which means you're trying to force the fight to actually happen when it's still at best a 5v6. It's actually worse than that because your Ana's asleep right now. So, like, this is wrong. This is wrong, and you're not going to have anywhere to go. But I didn't like the charge because the charge caused you to do this sooner, and, like, you knew that someone died behind you. You were not the last death of that fight, so you did not need to get back to this fight before, you know, your teammates who are dead. They do not have to be backing off from you like this. Them backing off is actually hanging their Reaper out to dry. They should kill you in Zarya. You're going what? 2.5, 3v5 here? Why would you do this? You won't have enough follow-up? Okay. You forced it with ults. That Reinhardt saw you use charge. He knows he has charge superiority over you for the next 7 seconds. I don't think it's going to matter, but you don't want the opposing mirror to see that you don't have an ability that you need to be able to match it. Swing still would have been better. You would have been able to get 2 to 3 with the swing, and I know you were thinking, oh, I want to kill, but swing into Fire Strike would have been better there.
There is still more to my tale.
You have to take high ground. But is your team here? Like, is your team ready? No, you guys are staggering. Push up and help her. Now back out. Now back out. Back to the stairs until you have 6.
The battle draws to its conclusion.
can you immediately farm Shatter? That's your only way back into this fight. So you've got to look for giant cleaves, which does not mean hard shielding right here. Now it does, because the McCree, the Lightning Cowboy is looking right at you, but your only way back into this match was not a charge, it was to immediately farm Shatter. Okay, that's the end of that. There's no way, right?
Moira by your side.
Yeah, that's the end of that. Okay, so that's over. So we've got some competition for what the most important thing would be. There was a fair amount of, hey, we're going to try and take second on low ground, not a thing. There was a fair amount of, hey, I'm going to charge back to get back fast when the fight's already over, and effectively I'm creating more staggering, or I'm going into 3v6, 2v5 poke situations, etc., which you're creating staggers for your team, whether you realize it or not, by doing that, and helping cut that out will help you a lot. But I'm going to bundle that in with your sort of standing in the middle of the open. You create poke phases when you don't want them, and you're going to get rid of that by not going into 3v5, 2v6, etc. situations, not, how shall I say, standing in the middle of the open and walking back and forth, or even standing in the middle of the open in general as Reinhardt. But the other thing I want you to focus on is anytime you've got a Zarya, I want you tracking your Zarya's bubble cooldowns. You don't have to talk about it, you don't have to say it. Like, you can, that's a fine training wheels, etc. But every Reinhardt worth their salt gets to a point where they know when their Zarya has bubble up, and they're giving their Zarya a good bubble opportunity at the right moment. And if they don't get that bubble, they still get out in time with 300 health, etc. But they get to go, hey, I'm swinging. My Zarya's going to see that, and halfway into my first swing, I'm probably going to get that bubble. And I thought I was going to get that bubble, and I did. So now let me do 1 to 2 more swings. You see what I'm saying there? That's a lot better than I'm swinging. Oh, I'm surprised I got the bubble. I didn't expect that, so I shielded, etc. So I want those to be the things, and I'd say, yeah, I want those to be the big two things for you. Even though it's hard, I'm struggling to not put a third in there this time, but we'll go with those. Anyways, that's what I've got. If you want more coaching, you can reach out to me, and I can quote you a price. Or for anyone else, do feel free to join my Discord server. I've got that in the description here, and that's where you can find me for private coaching or more general life advice. Thanks, guys. Temporal out.